Okay, the next shape after this one, the major seventh voicing, is going to be this one, kind of a stretcher. Okay, so my second finger is on the bottom string at the 7th fret. My pinky is on the 5th string at the 9th fret. My first finger is on the 4th string at the 5th fret. And my third finger is also on the 7th fret, on the 3rd string. Okay, so it's kind of a stretch. And so this is the 3rd on the bottom here. So this is a first inversion chord. When the 3rd is on the bottom, it's called first inversion. That doesn't make a lot of sense. And when the 5th is on the bottom, it's second inversion. And the next inversion, which is the 3rd inversion, would have the 7th. So 1, 3, 5, 7. So that's what this is, 7th chord. So we have the B, which is the 3rd. We have the F sharp, which is the 7th. We have the G, which is the root, and we have the D, which is the 5th. Now, also, one thing that's true throughout all these chords is that the 3rd and 7th are always going to be next to each other, and the 5th and root are always going to be next to each other, and all these shapes, okay? So, and another word for the 3rd and 7th, or another way to refer to them, is the guide tones. The guide tones, the 3rd and 7th are the guide tones, and those will be the most important tones of the chord. If you have a bass player, you can get away with just playing the 3rd and 7th. We're going to talk about that another time. Okay, so there's our 3rd and 7th. And there's our major 7th chord. All right. And to make this a dominant 7th, I just take the F sharp down to F, G7, the G7, okay? The 3rd's on the bottom, so we want to flat that, okay? And that makes it a G minor 7. So here's G major 7, here's G7, and here's G minor 7, okay? All right, now let's take all the 5s and flatten 5s. Now the 5's on the 3rd string here, so with the 3rd finger. So there's G major 7 sharp 5. We have to go like this to get G major 7 flat 5, okay? All right, G7 is like this. Here's G7 with a sharp 5, or G augmented 7th, and G minor, G7 with a flat 5. So we have the 3rd, which is 3rd, 7th, root, and 5th. Okay, so for example, this is B, F, G, and D flat. Okay, and then the minor, which is this one. Okay, so here's major 7th, dominant 7th, minor 7th. Okay, B flat, F, G, D flat, and to sharp that 5th, we're going to go up here. Okay, to flat the 5th, we're going to go right here. Okay, so sharp 5th, we would have this: B flat, F, G, and D sharp, and then B flat, F, G, and D flat. Okay, and we wouldn't call this E flat, even though it's kind of G minor would be kind of a flat chord, a flat key chord. We wouldn't call this up here, this note, an E flat. We would call it a D sharp, because we want to keep the notion that it is a 5th. We're altering the 5th, and E. When I think E in a G chord, I think that's the 6th. If you kind of, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, that's a 6th. So that would be, if we were to call it an E flat, I might be tempted to think of this as a flat 6th chord, which really isn't what you usually call them. You would call them a sharp 5 chord. So we're going to refer to that D as a D sharp, or that note as a D sharp rather than E flat. So you do have a B flat and a D sharp in the same chord. A little odd, but that's actually correct. Okay? All right. So there are all the chords: major 7th, 7th, and minor 7th. Just little shifts in your fingers can create those, okay? That's it. Now we got a couple more to do, and I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you. Bye-bye.